Jory.
I'm Tess.
Anita.
Holly.
Jane.
Hey.
Tony.
Paul.
Ross. Tristan.
Jeez.
Igor.
Cam.
Jake. Floppy.
Navi.
Chris.
Andy.
Nita. Mitra.
Jason.
Dean.
Julia. And Bob.
That's okay.
Do we get
I've
him?
got. Oh, yeah. That's the other side. Other
sorry.
side, yeah.
Somebody's door. Okay. Thank you. Very gently, very gently. Two chairs, one in this corner, one next to Lucky and one next to Tony. Off you go.
Hi everyone. Same old, same old. Doesn't change. How could it? And it's all there is. What they call in a lot of the texts and scriptures, non-duality. One without a second, not two. Everything is that. That's the great mantra, I am that. And we all know that because that's the chair you're sitting in, that's the room we're in, that's the space in the room, that's the tree, that's the flower, it's all that, which we discriminate with the word. We learn words and put different labels on it, and seemingly separate with the word. And the great mantra again is, I am that, meaning that this pattern, shape and form is that also. And so there is nothing other than that. That is all there is. And what is the that? Well, they put lots of labels and shapes and patterns on it and ideas, but recognise the word's not the thing. The word's not the real. Take the word water. Can you drink the word? Can you swim in it? The word fire doesn't burn your mouth. You can't cook with it. Can't heat yourself with the word. What's the word I or me? And we don't recognise it's that sense of presence. The sense of presence, the awareness of being present right here, right now, which translates as the thought I am. So instead of the I am being this particular person or entity we take it to be, it's just the thought or the word, I am. We take it to believe this body, mind, entity. But are you the body? Are you the mind? We take the word and we discriminate it with the word. And I tell you that in the scriptures. When no discriminating thoughts arise, the old mind ceases to be. We've taken on the belief we are this person, we are this individual when we learnt words. How many words were you born with? You realise you weren't born with any words. And you lived for the first couple of years of your life without the word. You didn't learn words till your parents fussed it around you, and the capacity of reasoning developed in that little child before you could say any words at all. So you are prior to the word. So you reckon if you're prior to the word, that thought I am is just a label we've put upon ourselves. It's not what you are. So are you the body? Because we say, call ourselves this body, mind, entity. This is what I am. But we're pointing to one without a second, remember, non-duality. Only that. Am I this body? We say my body, my mind, just the same as you say my house, my car, my coat. Are you the coat? You know you're not the coat. Are you the house? No, you're not that. Or are you the car? So are you this mind or this body? When you investigate it, what's this body made up of? Because this is another thing they point out. You're going to need to see this, to recognise it, to cognise your true nature. What's this body made up of? Because they say the false cannot stand up to investigation. And it's true when you look at it. What's this body made up of? Made up of elements: air, earth, fire, water, space. Just the same as the elements around you right now. Try and separate yourself from those elements. Take the water out of your body, see how long it lasts. Take the fire, the body temperature, it wouldn't last too long. Take the water. So all these elements that form the body, that's all the body is made up of, elements. And what do these elements appear in? They appear like everything else appears in what they call the basic space of phenomena. Talking about the space, or the base of everything is space. And what's the very first thing you think? We think we see you, me, or other things in space, but the thing closest to your eyes is the space itself. And you see look around the room and see all these patterns, shapes and forms are appearing in space. They're just appearing like images or reflections in the mirror. They appear to be there, but when you investigate and look into them, the appearance is not what they are. And that's what they call this manifestation, a phenomenal manifestation. And the definition of phenomena is that which appears to be, pointing out that it's all that one essence that's vibrating, pattern shaping and forming and appearing as everything. And that mantra comes on it again: I am that, that is what you are. Not the body, not the mind, but the one life, the one essence, the one intelligence energy, all different labels we put on things, that is vibrating and expressing as everything. And it all can be broken down. Vibration is nothing but a movement of energy. All broken down into energy. As Einstein tells you, there's nothing but energy, and it's all so. What about this thing called mind? The same way. If you believe you are this mind, show me a thing called mind. And you realise you can't show me anything at all that you can say this is mind. There is no such thing as mind, what we believe to be thought. We think thinking is. Thought is mind. What is thought? Thought's a word. What's a word? A sound. What's a sound? A vibration. What's a vibration? A movement of energy. So the body, mind and everything else are vibrating pattern, shapes and forms of that one space-like awareness or intelligence energy, the basic space of phenomena. Now have a look at that thing called space. Can you find any centre to space? Can you say it has a beginning anywhere? You realise you can't find a beginning to it because it's no thing. It's got no beginning, no boundaries, no end. And everything is the content of space. Everything, so-called thing. And you and I are things, the trees are thing, the flowers are thing, the seas, the ocean, the mountains, are all things, are all the content of space. And space is no thing. Can something come from no thing? It can't. So again, points out that it's all appearing. I use the analogy of a mirror. You look into a mirror, what do you see? You see an image or a reflection in the mirror. You can't say it's not there, but try and go up to the mirror and try and grab the reflection or image out of the mirror. You can't, because it's not there. It's only an image or a reflection. And Nisargadatta tells you nothing can trouble you except in your own imagination, pointing out that what we're imagining or imaging in, we take to be real, a mental image. We see these pictures, we form the pattern shape that form around them, and we take these images to be real. Not realising this body that's sitting in here now, and these words are coming from, is the content of space. It is no thing, but it's appearing as something. And they call it, all this manifestation is the adornment of space. Space vibrates and things, patterns, shapes and forms appear in it and disappear into it. There's still nothing other than the space. And I am that, you are that, this is that, everything is that. Call it Sat Chit Ananda Nama Rupa. That's the Hindu description of this non-dual reality. Sat is existence, Chit is consciousness, Ananda is loving to be, and the Nama Rupa is the body-mind. They say Nama Rupa is Maya. It's illusion. But go back to the other existence. Are you existing right now? And of course you are. You know that I am existing. Are you conscious? You know that also. I'm not unaware, so I must be conscious. And are you happy to be? Well, you don't want to be dead right now, do you? So you're happy to be. So you already fit that bill. What are we seeking? We've come to believe we've got to seek and find something that is greater, that we've taken to believe there is a greater power or a greater being, not realising it all the one essence. There's nothing greater or nothing less, because it is absolute. What can you add to absolute? Nothing whatsoever. It wouldn't be absolute if anything could be added. What can you take away from it? Nothing. And what happens if you recognise and see you are the absolute? If it's absolute and that's all there is, who can be superior to you? Nothing can be superior to you. Who can be inferior to you? Nothing, because the absolute can't be separated or divided. It is absolute. Or another way they put it in Buddhism, the great perfection. The perfection. Perfect is just the same as absolute. You can't add anything to it or take anything away from it. And they give it to you in one sentence there. The great perfection is non-conceptual awareness. Nobody is unaware right now, but all sorts of concepts might be going on in that head. They say, what's all this bullshit that bloke and talking about, or whatever, or other concepts, thoughts or ideas. But there'll be concepts going on. And concepts are words. And we pointed out before, the words are not the thing. Just a vibration, a movement of energy, which we put the label on. Word, and believe the words we've learnt and picked up along the way, we take to be real, are the reality. But it's not so. So, as that absolute, where nothing can be superior to you, nothing can be inferior to you, and what was the other one?
Nothing that you want from the other person.
Yeah. So, what is there to do? Just what they tell you to do. Let it rest in its uncontrived singularity. It is a singularity. Just relax and rest into that. In the resting and relaxing into it, what's happening? Anyone stop breathing? And the heart stop beating? The patterning, shaping and forming, the functioning still going on. But the thoughts can pause in the moment. You can't really stop thinking. And when you ask yourself what is wrong with right now, if I don't think about it, And you look at that and realise, get the glimpse of it, you can't say it's good, bad, pleasant, painful, happy, sad, loving, hating, positivity without a thought. We put the thought on, take the thought to be real, and we divide what is indivisible. We separate what is inseparable. It's the one essence, patterning, shaping, forming, experiencing as everything. How does that work in our lives? Well, something comes up and I like it. Not realising that everything in this manifestation is transient, it's constantly changing. You haven't got the same idea or concept about yourself when you walked into this room. Things are happening and it's constantly changing. So if something comes up, you like it. We don't want the things we like to go away. We don't want to be unhappy. We don't want to be sad. So what do? Not realising that everything is transient, it's constantly changing, and it's going to change whether you like it or not, so we try to keep it there. No matter how much you love it and want to keep it there, it's going to change. They're going to die, leave you, or separate, or pass on, or disappear, or whatever. But it's certainly going to change, just like the same as this body is changing right now. And look at that, you haven't got the same body you had 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or even a moment ago. There are thousands of cells dying in it right at this moment and being replaced. And that life essence, that intelligence knows the cell, skin cell's not going to replace the heart cell. The heart cell's not going to replace the lung cell. Each cell, it knows, suffused with that intelligence or life, knows what to do. So, the things we like, we don't want to go, so what do? We resist them. Try to keep it there. The thought that's going to come up, I don't want this, I've got to keep this good thought. And any resistance you are in conflict. Resistance is conflict. And any conflict is uneasiness, anxiety, stress, guilt, shame, jealousy, envy, all these things are conflict. And another word for that uneasiness is disease. There's resistance, conflict and disease going on in this body. Look at the other way. Something comes up and you don't like it. Oh, I shouldn't be thinking this. That's a bad thought. I don't want to get this. I've got to get rid of all this crap, the story that's going on. What do? We resist it again. Try to get rid of it. In conflict. So the same conflict goes on. So you can see where our lives are always in this conflict. As Way says, why are you unhappy? Because everything you say, everything you think and everything you do is for yourself. And he says there isn't one. So that's what happens when this resistance is going on. There's sadness, there's anxiety, there's stress, there's jealousy, there's envy. All these psychological problems come about because of that resistance. And it's only me that can be unhappy. It's only me that can be fearful. It's only me that can be jealous or envious or anxious, whatever else it might be. Me is the cause of all this psychological suffering. And the effects are the anxiety, the stress, the guilt, the unhappiness, the disease that's going on. Cause and effect. And that's what they call so-called karma, cause and effect. What happens if I investigate and ask myself and recognise this cause me, this believed in cause me, when I investigate and see this it's not how it appears to be, it's not what it is. And see it's a fiction, and ask the simple question, can there be an effect without a cause? Well, there can't be an effect without a cause. So there's the chance, an idea that you can be rid of all this psychological suffering that we're bound into. I recognise the cause, me, is the cause of all my psychological. and leave things as it is in all its natural functioning, as uncaused, and see what spontaneously comes up without relating to the cause. And look and see it's just the same as in nature. Take your leaf from nature. Nature's showing it clearly all the time how life is going on. Go outside, here it's daylight right now. How is it daylight? Well, look out, see, there's a thing we call the sun rolling around the sky. Not the sun, the earth rolling around the sky. This thing we're on is the earth. And it's rolling around and facing towards the sun now. And it's daylight. What happens? It continues to roll or move on and rolls over to the other side, with the other side, which is dark right now, will in turn become light. And so it keeps going on. Now the sun doesn't know anything about the sun, the earth. It just shines of itself. And the earth doesn't know anything about the sun. So the sun doesn't know anything about daylight and dark, and the earth doesn't know like. That's what's happening here. That life is changing all the time, and we're taking on the concepts and ideas instead of recognising it is that same life that's moving the earth around the sun, causing the seasons to come and go, the tides to come in and out. It's beating your heart, it's breathing you, it's growing your hair in your fingernails, it's digesting your food, all naturally and effortlessly. But we've taken on this idea when we learnt words that it's me or I that's doing it. And you say you didn't learn words till a couple of years of age, and you were living before that, and what can you say about it? You couldn't say anything at all without the word. And then you'll try and tell me you were born, but you can't remember your birth. How could you remember anything if you had no words? And the thinking and reasoning didn't come about till you were about 2.5, the capacity of reasoning development. How did you come about? We'll have a look at that. We'll go back into the life, isn't it? Animating life essence you call your father, through the intelligence energy or the life that's in him expressing, enabled in that pattern through the food he's eaten, the digesting and all the rest of the little microscopic particle called a sperm to form in that life. You can't see it with your naked eye, but that sperm was suffused with life, intelligence, energy. It knew what to do. And the same in your mother, that animating life essence in your mother, enabled in that pattern again through the livingness and the food it's eating, another little microscopic particle called an egg or an ovum to form in that pattern. That ovum, that egg, was suffused with intelligence. It knew what to do. It attached itself to the wall of the uterus. Implying it knew what to do, and the sperm, knowing what to do, swam to the ovum. When those two came together, what happened? They mingled in that life that was in your mother and carried on, and doubled and redoubled and formed the little embryo, the little fetus, is what you are today. What were you doing about it then? You had no idea. And what were you doing about it for the first couple of years of your life? You had no idea until you learnt words. And that didn't happen until the capacity of reasoning grew in you at about 2.5, and we learnt words. And the words are not the real. And the thing is, your parents fussing around you, tell you little Johnny or your little Jean or whatever your name might be. Someone asks you who you are, you say, I am little Johnny or I am Jean. Instead of saying, I am the reality, I am the absolute. We lose sight of it, we obscure it with this concept or word we've learned. And Shakespeare told you a couple hundred years ago, he says, there's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Words are concepts, ideas, sound, vibration. A thought is a word, sound, vibration, a movement of energy. And when we pick up the words and learn the words, we learn the word I. Instead of saying I am the absolute or I am the totality, I am this person. Where did the person come from? an old English word of somewhere, persona, the mask. Meaning we've got the mask of concepts we're believing to be what we are, and shutting ourselves on the true nature with this conceptual image. I am Bob the Australian, the good fella or not so good, or whether the other words I've learnt and whatever thoughts I've added onto them. Instead of seeing it in its bareness, in its pure sense of presence, the words are added onto it. Oh, this is no good, so I'm so and so and so. We make a story. And we've got the story about ourselves, and the story is not the reality, it's not the truth. But the sense of presence, you cannot negate. You can't say, I am not. Another word, the way they translate that Satchit and Andrew is to being, knowing, and loving to be. And we call ourselves human beings. If you believe in God, you'll call God the Supreme Being. What happens if you cancel that word supreme off? Cancel the word human off. Try and tell me you're not being. And you realise you can't negate your being. You know that I am, that sense of presence, that beingness. And you realise being is not becoming. So I don't have to become something with all these practices and things I do. It's pure being, absolute. And I am being right now. Becoming is time. And have a look at that, investigate the time and see that time is a mental concept. Ask yourself, is there a past if I don't think about it? If you realise you don't think about it, you can't say it's past, future, or anything at all. You'll say, oh, I was in the past. I'll say, try and live yesterday. Try and live a minute ago. You realise you can't go back and live it, but you can recall it. You can recall yesterday or sometimes years back. You can't recall it all, but that's only what you can recall and bring into the present moment that it has any reality. What you can't recall is gone and gone forever. The same thing you can anticipate and imagine the future. But anticipation and imagination is not right now. It's about some future time. And with that anticipation and imagination, if it comes around, or the recognition comes back to the seeming now, and if it's not anticipating it and imagining anything, you're living with the actual presence, the beingness, the presence awareness, the non-conceptual, ever-fresh presence awareness. They call it a cognizing emptiness. We think we cognize the emptiness. We don't. It's the emptiness, that life essence in you, that's doing the cognizing. As the Buddha pointed out, he called it a cognizing emptiness. He said emptiness is form. There it is. All this space-like awareness which is empty vibrates and patterns, shapes and forms appear in it. Like you and me and everything else are patterns, shapes and forms. Emptiness is forms, and he says the forms can be nothing other than the emptiness. And that's the reality. It's only this space-like awareness, when all this appearance is seemingly real in, the life is real. You go to sleep at night and you dream. In that dream, you can be everywhere or anywhere at all sorts of places doing all sorts of things, all sorts of activities going on. Seems very real. What happens when you wake up? It all disappears. And those things you were doing in the dream disappeared, and there you are, you realise, here I am. Look at it and you realise your body hadn't moved off the bed, no words had come out of your mouth, and yet you're in all these places doing all these things under the dream. What we don't realise that this is the waking dream. Because when you go to sleep at night here and wake up in the morning and the things were there and when you left off the night before don't disappear. They're all here and it continues on from there. But then the dream, it disappears. And Nisargadatta pours out, we are dreaming a dream you call the world. He says, stop looking for ways out. The dream is not your concern. Your concern is you love one part of the dream and not the other. He says, love all of it or none of it. And the rest will be done for you. Leave it as it is. And amazingly enough, what he says is true. The rest will be done. Just the same as it brought you into existence, it's breathing you right now and beating your heart right now. The things that are necessary to do, it'll bring up as words or thoughts maybe, or activities to do, and it'll be done. Without all the conceptualising and saying, well, I do this and do that and choose this or choose that, and all the chatter that this conceptual thinking takes us into us and brings about the fear, the anxiety, the stress, the hatred, the animosity, and all those things, which are not necessary. The psychological suffering is not necessary. And realise what we do when we take it to be good and bad, pleasant, painful, we separate it. And it's not separate. It's inseparable. It's absolute. So it's all the non-dual. So recognising it's not separate, just the same as night follows day in the outside in the life energy, so the thoughts come about will change. Because thought is always vibrating in the opposite. It's either good or bad, pleasant, painful, happy, sad, loving, hating, high, low, here, there, day, night, whatever. But they are not separate. They are two ends of the one stick. And there couldn't be the other way. How could this manifestation be if it didn't divide into the opposite? Could there be any discrimination whatsoever if it was not dividing or seemingly separate? But they're not separate. Another way of looking at that, you go outside on a cloudy day. Would you say the sun's not in the sky? You wouldn't, because you know, and you've investigated and know the truth, that the sun never leaves the sky. It's there already. But it's obscured by a cloud. So when you ask what forms the cloud, investigate it further, see what's going on. And you'll see the sun itself forms the cloud. The sun doesn't know anything about the cloud. But what's it do? Its radiance, its heat, it evaporates water. Water rises and condenses and forms a cloud which obscures it. And what happens then? Well, the sun will continue to shine and radiate, and the cloud might cool things down, the cloud will condense and come down as rain. Go back into the earth and form into the river again and into the ocean, and the sun will keep shining, and other clouds will form. That continues on, seemingly changing, but in its absolute, changeless. Always the absolute, nothing added to it, nothing can be taken away. We've got this body, we form this body through the father and the mother, and they form from their parents, the father and the mother. What happens when this body goes? We think we'll reincarnate and come back as this. Not. This body will break down. They'll put it, the bacteria and germs and that will help break it down and rot. But you either put it in a box and buried, or put it in the fire and burnt. As they say, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And when it is ashes and dust, what they break down again, where does that go? That goes back into space. Came from space, the pattern, the shape and forms in space, but it was nothing but the space. The life, suffused with intelligence, energy, life. And that is what you are. There is nothing other than that. No thing. You and I are things. The tree, the flower, the birds, the bees and everything else are things. All appearing in space. Space is no thing. And everything is the content of space. Can something come from no thing? Simply can't. But it appears to. And it couldn't express or recognise itself if it didn't vibrate into these patterns, shapes and forms. It was suffused with the intelligence that enables things to be. And it's amazing intelligence, it's fusing and everything. It's not an accidental or haphazard way of functioning. It's suffused with that light. Or a lot of people like to call it God. If you like to call it God, we'll have a look at that. It tells you in the Bible, the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, the Word was God. That's all that God is another word. All things were made by Him, by the Word. And that's true, we've learnt words and everything. There was nothing made that was made without the Word. So it's not a thing called God, it's the absolute intelligence energy that you and I are. It's non-dual, there's nothing can be separate from it. Omnipresence, total presence, omnipotence, total power, omniscience, total intelligence. And you are that. So that's about it for today. You've got people, a lot of people here know that. And if you know it, don't hesitate to point it out, because somebody who is looking or having trouble with it might hear what you say and it might resonate with you. In that resonation, it'll be something they'll hear, it'll take them a little bit further. So in expressing it, that's how it's been passed down through the ages, from word of mouth to word of mouth. And in the old days, there were only a few could understand it because there was no ways to communicate. Now they've got all these means of communication, and a lot of people can hear it. And you wouldn't be here if you didn't. We were satisfied with the way the scriptures were, the different traditions were telling you, where they've formed into different traditions and tell you you're a sinner, you're an evil person, you've got to do this and go to that, putting all the fear of hell and God into different terms when you are absolute. So you weren't happy with that, you wouldn't look into anything further, but you're here looking for it, so that means you're looking at it, and some of you know it, because another means here they can express it. Some of you might have doubts with it, don't hesitate to bring them out. But that's what keeps it going, by recognising it and expressing it in different ways and means, and so it can be heard and realised and recognised. In the cognising of it, or the knowing of it, is the being of it. And you are that. Thanks, Kat.
Ears.
Ah, ears.
Yeah, so we only have good morning messages from our online community, and we have up to 20 people only, so the mic goes to you. We invite everyone to share or to ask question or to doubt, to express whatever comes up, and tell us how you're going with it. Anyone would like to start? Okay, you can just really start from where you're sitting, how you're feeling. There is a natural description coming up in the narrative saying, oh yeah, I'm sitting here and it's hot, or it's air conditioning running, and I hear him talk. Some of the things I like that what he says, some of the things I don't agree, and that's one way of describing what's happening. But wouldn't be more actually appropriate or correct to describe it in a way that, okay, there is a sensation happening in the consciousness, there is a field of consciousness, and there is a sensation which is translated by the mind as sitting, but really what it is a sensation. You can't even say without the mental images whether it's a bat on a chair or straight back or whatever. Is sensation happening? Is hearing also happening? Within that space of hearing, there is a narrative and a commentary and comparison happening. So this is all happening. The hearing is happening, the words are being processed, translated and argued with, agreed or disagreed, liked or disliked. This is all mental noise, mental processing arising in the consciousness. So this is which one is actually more appropriate and real description. I am sitting here and I feel hot or cold and I disagree? Or is it that there is a field of knowing, and in that field there are sensations arising, there are thoughts arising, there are interpretations and comparisons of those thoughts arising. And as Bob often points, and that's crucial to understand the whole message, nobody knows what is the next thought that is going to arise. Nobody knows whether that thought is going to be a choice or decision or doubt or investigation or insight. The thoughts are arising in that space of consciousness.
It's okay. Yes, Bob.
Another way they put it is heartfelt. We all know what that is. Somebody tells you a sad story and you really hear it, you'll say, my heart went out to them. Causes a sensation or a feeling or a warmth or something there that moves. When they talk about the heart, it's not your physical heart. Talking about the heart as the core of your being. The core, like the core of an apple, the centre, the symbol of the spirit. And you all know what that is because everybody's had that sensation. Let it grow. Be with it more and more. And the more and more it grows, the easier it is to recognise it, and less you're going to lock into the thoughts and the fears and the anxieties and all that shit.
Beautiful, and that's an amazing summary of actually listening from that other space, listening from the mind. I am sitting here, I'm hot or cold, I'm disappointed, or just finding like deep down in the heart a description coming out much more accurate, resonation, just describing whatever is that juicy present moment containing. And there is no space for the I in that juicy present moment, but there are all those sensations and perceptions and computing and interpretations. There's no space for any agency that takes credit for it. And even if there is some sort of an agency arising as a thought, that's just a part of the landscape of thinking. So thinking arises. In this one, we are already in that space of the heart, when the mind doesn't need to analyze, agree, disagree. It's just a pure resonation. It's just a pure finding where, oh, you're right. I know that. Of course. Who doesn't? Who doesn't know that they exist? Who doesn't know they are conscious? Everyone knows they already are the field of consciousness, which gets obscured only when the thought arises. No, I'm not the whole field. I'm the poor little miserable me, the body, the mind. But without that thought, there is still the field of knowing, field of consciousness. So the innate knowing, this is what the resonance is for. Just coming back to that innate knowing with which everyone was born, and which got lost through the conditioning, through acquiring the ideas and descriptions and identity that was formed of concepts, a mental image, conceptual image. Did you want to say something, Dean?
Absolutely not.
Anyone? Hi, thank you so much. I mean, you talk about, if the words resonate or all that, to be honest, as I asked also last session, it's not about the words I realized for me. Like, your words are too direct. To be very honest, I don't get it. And
Good.
you know, yeah, I don't understand, or they don't even resonate, and I keep losing my attention even, you know, and I wonder if it's out of fear or whatever, I don't know. And all that, but something like last time, but you changing me in a way that is totally beyond my comprehension. Like last time when I asked that question, I don't know why I cried, and that crying went on for 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Right? And I went home and I was feeling very heavily heartbroken. I don't know from what, you know, but I would just keep crying.
Without the eye will never get it.
That's it, yes.
The eye is the conceptual image of it. What without the eye? What is there to get them?
But it is beautiful that you actually, because it's the time to accept it, you know, that, oh, I don't understand, the words, they're complicated. This is very honest, because I can't tell you how many people believe they get it, or believe they understand it intellectually, which is absolutely impossible. There is no intellectual understanding. Intellectuals only believe. So you have this beautiful honesty about it. No, I'm not getting it. Of course, there's no one to get it, and there's nothing to get. Of course. There's just time to accept it. No, that intellectual level is inherently dissatisfying. It is never, even if you develop a belief that you understand it, that you understand that through time there was a sperm and ovum and they grew out to the fetus, and it's not really a scholarly
but it's
thing.
not resonating also. Like when you say resonation.
How do you know? Because you're judging it from the mind. If it wasn't, the actions would show it. And your actions are that you are right here, right now. So your words can say whatever they want, but the actions are always speaking louder than words. Look at actions.
Yeah, okay. So the whole thing is totally beyond my comprehension.
Absolutely.
The action is, I want to come here on Sunday, I don't know why.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How beautifully honest is that? I don't know why. I don't understand it. It's beyond the comprehension. Mind is duality. Mind is the device that
But I want to wake up,
objectifies.
you know, I really want to wake up. I know you say I'm awake, but, you know,
I
if
is
it
not
doesn't
awake.
resonate, you
I
know.
is not awake. I is an idea. How the idea can be awake? I is a thought. But that thought arises in the wakefulness that is there to witness the I. You know, in the field of consciousness, there is a thought arising that I is not awake, and the I wants to get awake. So in the consciousness, the idea is witnessed. That consciousness, is it asleep?
No, but
No,
exactly, but you,
But
do you want to say something?
Yeah. No. No, but the but came in. Drop the but. As
yes,
soon as you say but, you're off on another tangent with the mind.
if the
No,
mind.
just
yeah.
pure no. No I.
Yeah.
Just feel your butt.
Yeah. Really, but
Promise?
Sorry.
promise, he's joking.
Promise.
But really, but always takes you to the mind. Whenever you hear the word but, you know that you actually not staying with your answer, but the mind kicked in and wants to take you, like he says, on another tangent. Just see how it takes and steals the show, how it comes in a picture and steals the show. Every time the but arises, you answer the question correctly. Is that consciousness in which the mind arises, the thought arises, the ideas of not being awake arise, is that consciousness asleep or is it awake? That consciousness that knows about the I arising and falling away.
That's awake.
That is awake, that's
Yeah.
it. But no, that's it. See, the mind always comes and says, well, that's not good enough. How am I going to find out that I am that consciousness? I can never do that.
Full
I have
stop.
to rest its case.
Full stop, period. What's wrong with it right now?
Nothing.
You didn't disappear?
No.
Still breathing? Still beating? Still seeing? Nothing's stirring up in the concepts.
See, if you realize that one thing,
Mm.
that the one who has the desire to have this moment different than it is, to have something more, you know, the one that has the desire, that seeming entity, that seeming I, who wants this moment to be different, because, you know, it's not good enough, I'm not awake, or whatever the concept is, doesn't matter, I don't have $1 million, or doesn't matter what the concept is. The one that resists this moment, this beautiful, miraculous moment of existence, which will never be the same again, that idea that believes that this moment is wrong, it should be different, is not who you are. That idea arises in what you are. That idea, I am not awake, I want to be enlightened, I'm not resonating, blah, 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 blah. Those ideas are not who you are. Those are thoughts. When you pause those thoughts, you still exist.
Yes.
Yes. So you exist with or without prior to all those ideas that you need something better, you need to awaken, something has to happen. This is no good. I am no good. I'm not good. All that rubbish arises in what you are, with it or without it.
So I'm awake already.
I is never awake, but
Yeah.
the consciousness in which the I shows up.
So when they say the life gets conscious of itself, that's the awakening moment, if there is such a thing. So I thought, the life is not yet conscious enough.
Who says that? The thought. Is that thought true? Is that thought, judging life, what it is and what it should be, even relevant? You know, that thought could speak in Russian language or Chinese language or
But
Polish.
this is when the moment that just, like Bob had a moment and Bob had a moment with Nisargadatta, you had a moment with Bob, right?
Yeah.
That penny dropped, like that penny drop hasn't dropped here.
Have you stayed with the moment?
Sorry?
Have you stayed with the moment? What's wrong with it right now?
Nothing.
Yeah, stay with this moment.
Is that still breathing? Heart still beating? But there's no concepts going on. No thoughts. Are you unaware right now?
No.
So you must be aware, without putting anything more onto that awareness. Just leave it as it is. Thoughts will come up, of course, but just to get a glimpse of your true nature. And realise that's always the base. It's like awareness is the base. Thoughts appear on. Then the butts come in. That's when I say the story about the butts. When you're smoking, what do you do with the cigarette when you finish it? You throw the fucking butt away.
It's really that simple. It's really that simple.
It's just that pause had to happen.
No, the pause doesn't have to happen. Whether the pause is there or the pause isn't there, when you realize that arising and falling away of the thinking, the mind, the comparing, the whole narrative blah blah part, regardless whether it is there or it is not there, you exist. There is an existence.
Yes.
Don't try and grasp it with a thought.
Yeah.
So don't look for a pause or anything at all. That's a thought. Just be. Go for a moment without a thought.
Without the thought. See, habitually, you exist, whether you're in the deep sleep or whether the thought is there or thought isn't there, and then the mind comes up. straight away with the idea of me, this is my mind, this is my thoughts, they are important, they are true. I am not this, or I did not realize, or I didn't awake. Straight away, the energy of belief goes into those thoughts, and then you completely forget that before that thought arose, you were already fully conscious, present, aware, and existing, 100%.
Yeah.
And now that existence is completely invisible because the whole energy goes into that thought. And now the idea that, oh, I am this I, as if you were an actress playing on the stage. Let's say you were playing whatever, Virgin Mary, and then suddenly you believe so fully that you are Virgin Mary that you completely forget that apart from that role you have life.
Right. Okay, thank you so much. This is, but God, I never. Just a question about what happened last week or all these 6 months. I'm coming here more than 6 months now. Is it so? Apart from this,
You're trying to grasp with the concept. Quit that.
Yes.
right?
Leave it as it is. You don't need to know.
I don't need to know
Because
because it's doing its work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even I don't get it, doesn't matter, right?
That is even
You are
better.
it.
That's even better. if
That's
the
even
I-
better, huh?
If the I doesn't get it, that's even better. Because see, the I that tries to get it is just a concept-forming machine.
Okay, it's
It's
a
not-
thought itself, right?
Yeah, it's just something that is grasping,
Okay.
objectifying, naming, claiming, labeling. That machinery, which always makes sense from the environment, which is a wonderful machinery. Because, you know, if you didn't have all those labels and interpretations and comparisons, you wouldn't function as smoothly as you do. But this functioning of the mind is to assist the bodies navigating the dream. It is completely useless and is
Contrary.
disturbing to find to
Okay.
to realizing
So it's
the
okay to
simplicity.
stay unconscious about what is going on in me.
It's not staying unconscious. How conscious are you of the
Okay, I
way
don't-
your spine works?
No, that's right. Nice.
And it's working fantastic. Or your heartbeat. No conscious.
Yeah.
It's working great.
And so how Bob is and you doing to me, it doesn't matter if I get it or not.
the I can never get it.
You
I
are
can't
Are you
ever
existing?
get it, so what's
Are
the
you
point?
existing? Are you existing?
I
There is
am, yes.
existence?
Yes.
There is a consciousness?
Yeah.
Is that never not here?
Yeah. No, it's
Always here.
Yeah.
So you are that existence, you are that consciousness. The I, which wants to get it, is a thought. You are the consciousness. If you only remember that that thought which wants to get it is just a thought. If you don't believe that you are that thought, you're free. If you do believe you are that thought, you're fucked. Because
I
you
am
can never ever
to
get
tell
out
you.
of that trap. If you believe you are a Virgin Mary on the stage, then you go down the stairs. Oh shit, you know? How am I going to function in the world? The trams. Virgin Mary knows nothing about it. Telephones. Imagine that. How
Yeah, I know.
dysfunctional would that be? If you imagine and you stay in the role that you are temporarily playing.
Yeah.
So you are not that role. You are the consciousness. And you are, can you see how the body finds its way always wherever it is?
That's
You are
right.
Mitra right now. You are the mother. You are a partner. Your friend. Your worker. You all those roles temporarily.
Come on.
But when the role is put aside, existence is always there, underlying every single role. That is the same consciousness, the existence. You're not unaware. You're not unconscious.
Yeah.
You're not. You know, you're existing. This existence takes different costumes, puts different roles. It dances. It shows. It expresses, experiences itself. That existence needs the body, needs the eyes, the ears. Let the existence look out, rather than the idea of me looking out. Oh, me, I'm not getting it, this is wrong. No, the existence, let it see, let it hear, let it feel. The pure mystery of life essence. Just get yourself out of the way and let that pure life
I
look
love
out of
that.
your eyes.
I
Yeah.
just really love doing it, but
But
I can't yet. But
you
I
don't
do my
have
best.
to do that. It
Yeah.
is, see, that's the point. You don't have to do that.
Right.
You just stop
Doing.
obscuring it, or recognize the obscuration. Recognize that the life is already looking out of your eyes. It is already hearing. It's already hearing. It's already beating your heart. And now the thought comes, no, this is I am seeing. I am beating my heart. I am growing my hair. Nonsense. Life is doing it already. So it's nothing that you need to do. Just recognize what is already so. When you were a little baby, the life was looking out of the life of the eyes of a baby, and the life didn't have a word to claim it. No, this is me, Mitra. Before you even got the name, that capacity was already there. So you can see how the concept came and claimed the capacity which were always belonging to that life essence, to that energy, intelligence. And it's already doing it, always and forever. It's never you doing anything. Can you see? Are you doing your seeing?
No,
No,
for
good.
sure not.
And seeing's happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hearing
So,
happening.
see, and what is looking?
That's what I'm wondering sometimes.
Yeah, look what is looking.
Okay.
And look what's hearing. And oh shit, this is a miracle, a mystery.
I know.
Wow.
It's a mystery.
You're not doing it. And it's happening.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, really.
Oh, thank you.
You can turn it around and say what isn't awake.
Yeah.
Almost like that.
Yeah, beautiful. Get the mic.
What isn't
Get the mic, Tibor.
I mean, I know that just carry on.
Go on it, go on.
Well, what isn't awake? Like you're saying, you're looking for what is awake and that I'm not enlightened. Well, what isn't awake when you're looking out of your eyes? What isn't awake? You know, it's like, yeah, and that's never going to be that. But the consciousness that's looking out of your eyes is always awake, and that's there's no buts in that.
You said your mind isn't awake, but isn't your mind aware of the fact that it's not awake? Isn't that thought there being like, wait, I need to be this thing? It's already awake, it's already thinking. The mind is doing the same thing that the eyes are doing. The mind its job is to think, it's to conceptualize. Do you see concepts here? You do. Like that's our experience of life. It's awake as well. It's doing what it needs to do. It's just not, the eye doesn't know that it's an eye and it doesn't know what it sees. It's just doing its thing. Same with the mind. We just think that the mind need to grasp this concept, but the mind is just minding.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't mind.
Yeah.
It's just thinking. You are thinking right now. It's awake as well.
It's translation. That's all it does.
And
mind, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Andy.
Mind its own business.
Yeah.
and the more that you don't get caught up in the narratives of the mind and it wanting to be awake or whatever, then heart knowing just opens, that you are being with what is without trying to work anything out at all. And that heart knowing is absolutely beyond the mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
No mind.
no mind.
Yeah.
And what happens, with as the heart knowing comes forward, there's a great sense of peace in you. That there's the restlessness of the mind starts to settle down.
You don't have to do that.
It just happens.
See,
the
it's already
more
there.
that you not trying to figure things out, and you're just looking at these questions that arise, and you go, okay, whatever. Then your heart knowing comes forward and embraces everything and nothing. The beauty of not knowing in that mind way.
Accepting not knowing.
Yeah.
And you start to see how life supports life. You know, how it flows so organically and things fall into place. There's no one doing anything, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
You're open to that. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Hey Mitra. Hi. I don't know, something Bob said in his spiel, rest in that uncontrived singularity brought a tear to my eye. And I completely know that place of that struggle. What I've loved and hated about Bob all these years is that he just keeps pointing to the truth, and all of those, all of the resistance, all of it just needed to come up to the surface. But Bob just kept pointing to the truth, and I certainly don't want to say any pennies dropped or anything like that. But I just want to you're beautiful, and just keep coming back.
Also, the stories you may hear of other people's so-called awakening, the stories are as varied as everybody. Some people it's a very gentle, slow thing. Some people dramatic. Some people just, it's very varied. And yours, it will be unique. Is unique. And to just remember, it's a process of subtraction. There's nothing you can do to get it. Nothing you can do to get it. It is actually just dropping something. Subtraction. Get out of the way and it's already there. Beautiful. Anyway, coming. Coming.
I have a couple of online participants commenting here, and this is Laura. So obvious is closer than breath, which is why it is so overlooked. And when Bob asks you, are you unaware? You say, no, you're not unaware. And when you say, what's wrong with right now if you don't think? And you say nothing. And then the next question he asks you, but you're still existing. Yeah, that's the hard knowing. Even without the thought, existence is undeniable. It can't be denied. You don't need the thought to know that you are. That's the simplicity. That's so simple and obvious. And then Adrian says, wow, what a powerful spiel. The words and energy behind them feel so pure. Bob said to me the other day, try and grab some thoughts, and you simply can't. They are an appearance. You can't grab. The me can only be thoughts, and you can't grab this. Me and I are just words also, and so can only be concepts and can't be grasped. Yet something remains, what we are. A subtle me can try and claim the awareness as being mine, but it is not. It is just boundless awareness. Beautiful. And Laura says, I know that I am. It's all that's known. I know nothing. And Sally says, so clearly spoken and expressed, Kat, thank you. And Primali, thoughts are acquired knowledge. You were there before the knowledge. And Laura, are you dead? No, that's it. And Primali, thoughts are part of machinery. There are other parts of machinery as well. Accept all of it. And Peter, thoughts are continual reminders that you exist as awareness behind thoughts. Beautiful. And Adrian, Mitra, all that is happening is the mind has become overactive. Thoughts have nothing to do with what you are. Last week you were talking about a stillness and space you felt at times, which is it. Attention has withdrawn from thoughts, which just breeds more thoughts. Oh, scheiße. Sorry. I think there was one more comment from Vivek, but this new Facebook setting is just really difficult. There we go. So Vivek says, just asking questions is of little help. It is ego popping out. Yeah, Bob often says, drop the search. However, of course, dropping the search is as impossible as starting the search because there is no one to do that. But when he says it, again, this is the invitation to resonate with the possibility of the fact that you really are already what you are looking for. You really already are that field of consciousness in which the idea of me arises and claims, no, this is my consciousness, I'm still asleep, I'm not awake, whatever the narrative says. Dropping the search is realizing that the search is unnecessary. The thinking process, search is only happening in the thinking. And the thinking can't grasp it because thinking is noise. Bob often says, the thought, what is it? It's a vibration. It is a noise. It is a sound. It's a vibration. Now, how is the vibration vibrate into a stillness? It can't. Its nature is to vibrate. How is the noise ever reach the silence? It can't. So engaging with the vibrating, noisy mind, which is question, answer, I don't know this, I don't know this, rah, 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 is never, ever gonna get you beyond the mind. So the mind has to be recognized and abandoned. Not abandoned, of course, just recognize that the awareness of the consciousness, the field of knowing in which that mind comes and goes, is already here, always, prior to the mind, and that you are. Because when the mind is quiet, you exist. When the mind is noisy, you exist. When the mind is asleep, you exist. So you are the existence, regardless of that surge going on. Oh, I don't get that, I don't get that. Oh, this one did had the penny drop, and this one, rah, rah, rah. Just change the language to Chinese. And don't bother with it. But just keep returning, as Bob says, returning to that field of knowing, witnessing the overactive mind, like Adrian was saying, just witnessing the thinking. Anyone? Mm-hmm. Go on, Hema.
Just thank you. Thank you for the everything, explanation, for the direct energy and commitment that you put in this work, and I always get influence. That's why I'm coming here. I keep coming here forever, for eternity. Just wanted to thank you.
Thank you. Andy?
Just one thing. Direct experiencing without thought, without just direct experience. It's already there. Experiencing. Yeah, that's without a commentary. Mm. It's not of the mind. It's of the experience.
And then see this description, I am not getting it. I am sitting here, I keep coming back for 6 months, and people had all those, Nisargadatta, Bob in front of Nisargadatta, me in front of Bob, and other people had their moments. You recognize that this is just the narrative, this is just a storyteller. It is a wonderful part of that whole body-mind machinery. It's actually so beautiful. I'm just such in love with that storytelling capacity. I love it. It's beautiful. But I was once a slave to it, and I hated it, and it was making me suffer. When I say me, again, I'm talking about life being trapped and believing to be something limited. Because the moment you recognize the limitlessness of what you are, everything shifts. Now, the storyteller is just, and you can recognize it right now, because this is the moment-to-moment recognition. It's not that, something that happened in the past. It happens right now, or it doesn't. So the storytelling capacity is a wonderful capacity that connects us together, that entertains. It's a beautiful capacity. But it's just one of the beautiful capacities. It's no different to a beautiful capacity of digesting your food. How amazing is that? You can eat chocolate cake, pure poison. the digestion is just fantastic, and it converts it to all those different smelly substances. Amazing. Think of the capacity of pumping blood. And pumping thoughts is just pumping stories is the same capacity. Sweating of the skin or salivating. They all absolutely amazing. Capacity to express art. All those capacities are fantastic. And all those are equally experienced and witnessed in the consciousness that you are. Because we habitually give more attention to thinking, that's why the thinking gets like really a cloud in front of the eye. But seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, digesting, sweating, salivating, all of those capacities are quite mind-blowing, amazing.
Yes.
I wanted to say two things. One, I didn't have a penny drop. It was very soft. It was very subtle. Just slowly, like everyone says, letting go. And there's the stillness, the quality. It's like a quality that is hard to explain. And I don't have a quiet mind. It's very noisy. It's very imaginative. But there's a separation. And for example, in the last few days, I've been noticing it's very, very agitated. It's feeling quite anxious. And I can see that it has nothing to do with me because, like, I haven't done anything. Maybe it's the food, maybe it's the mood, maybe it's sleep, I don't know, whatever. But it's, once this separation happens, or it's not even an actual separation because it still feels like that, but it's, again, one of those senses, it's the experience of living. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't have that weight of, oh, I'm feeling so anxious. What am I going to do? It's just, oh, anxiousness is happening. Cool. Let's just watch it. And it is what it is. And there's nothing to fix even because it's just another experience. It's not good or bad. It's not me who's experiencing it. And because I'm experiencing it, I have to fix it and I have to be this or that. It's just, oh, cool. This is happening. There's more, the energy is a bit more, the vibration is a bit different. Cool. The wind is a bit more strong. Like it's just, there's no resistance to it. It's just acceptance. And there's the whole weight of our being is not this story that the mind is currently telling. Because I also know that tomorrow morning I'll wake up and my heart will be open and my mind will be still and I will just wake up and be like, oh, that bird, that song is really, really nice. And that's it. And it changes and it flows and there's nothing to do about it other than, well, nothing, just be.
Yeah.
Just be. And it's slowly, the experience doesn't stop happening. The duality, it doesn't disappear. I'm assuming Bob isn't as well, waking up in the morning and not seeing anything. It's just random blobs of whatever. The whole experience stays as it is. And it's just our ability to see it as an experience, as life living itself with everything that it is, including the mind, who's very noisy at times.
Yes. Beautiful. People.
Oh, yeah, just mine's just similar to yours now. It's just wasn't any great. It's just slowly unfolding things, and I've just come back from 5 days walking in the wilderness in Tasmania, and guess what? My mind was still with me. Yeah. You know, commenting on everything like, this is really hard. You're walking uphill, and oh, this hurts or that hurts, and then it would just, like, I could recognise it and see that it was happening, and then, but whether you go to a retreat and you think, oh, that place, I'm going to be fine there, and your mind's still going there, or anywhere you are, it's just, and then just see it, and it's just a joke sometimes. But occasionally it's got something worth listening to, but more often than not, it's just comments on everything, you know, what you're eating, what you're seeing, where you are, the temperature. It just keeps commenting on everything, and then just don't take it too seriously. That's all.
That's it.
But yeah, it's And I just thought, oh, like, you know, I'm going to be off in here or there and it's going to be quiet. No, it doesn't go quiet. It's okay, but it's just not. Every now and then it does, and it's just like, but yeah, it's just designed to comment and do things, and then when it's quiet, and when it's not, it's not.
That's the point of freedom.
Yeah.
You don't need anything
Yeah.
to change. You recognize that the freedom is there, whether the mind is noisy or whether the mind is quiet. Doesn't really matter what it does. Same as it doesn't matter whether your skin sweats or it doesn't. Freedom is freedom, regardless.
So yeah,
that's beautiful.
That's all.
Thank
It's
you
just
for
that similar sort of situation.
And I find that freedom translates to people as well.
Yes.
Once I'm at peace with whatever's happening, even if I'm uncomfortable with someone or I want their behavior to be this way or another, hi mom and dad, it doesn't matter. They don't have to change. I don't have to change. It can just be as it is and it's okay. And then somehow on its own, it just shifts because of that. It's like you said that you cried, but you didn't know what made you cry. You didn't know who was crying. Like, it was just a thing that was happening on its own. Maybe that's the resonation.
Beautiful.
I'm just going to try a poem, right?
Yep.
It's just come up, right?
Go for it.
Within the field of the present moment stillness, there appears constant movement. I don't know if that's anything.
Yeah. And there is, here we have a comment from Jed. I've heard some teachers say nothing exists. Would Bob say that things do exist? It is all one, and nothing is nowhere to be found? It is neither, and it is both. Yeah, it's like a reflection in the mirror. Does it exist or it doesn't? It does because it appears to be, and it doesn't because you can't grab it and take it out of the mirror. So they call it a phenomenal manifestation. Does it exist? Well, it certainly appears to exist, but come closer. No, it actually is an appearance. It's a very, very fast vibration of the particles that create matter. So for the mind, the yes-no question, again, it is objectifying and creating duality. We don't even go there. If you understand that the answer is not in the mind, then you can straight away just adopt the answer, no, yes, both, neither, out of question. So, but that's, thank you for bringing it up, because that is kind of a point of an inflammation where there are a lot of splits, you know, like in every sort of a system of wisdom or philosophy, people fight forever and ever and create the big symposia. Is it yes or is it no? Or is it black or is it white? Yeah, we don't even go there because that's the discussion for the mind. And direct experiencing is, yes, it appears to be, but it can't be found. And Laura says, slowly, slowly catch a monkey. And Jed says, thank you. Cool. And that's it for the online comment. Yes, how relieving is that? That nothing really needs to be fixed or changed or found. It's a pure recognition of what has never ever been lost. It's so uncompromising and it's so very simple. The thought that it can't be grasped by the dualistic thinking because it's the non-duality. It can't be grasped by the concept because it's the non-conceptual awareness. And yet it can't be denied because the awareness is present. The presence is aware. So that is that really simple. Stop trying to grasp it with the dualistic thinking, with the concepts, and that's all that can be done. Wasn't that the quote that you liked from Nisargadatta? That's all can be done for you.
Yeah.
Yes, the rest will be done for you. Stop trying to grasp or recognize that what you are is already it, and then stopping is just relaxing the grasping.
Tell you that in the Sermon on the Mount too. Take no thought for your life, what you shall eat, what you shall drink, what you shall wear. The birds in the field don't sow or reap or gather into barns? Look at the lilies in the field, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit to his stature?
Perfect.
Can't make yourself inch taller by thinking about it.
And like Laura was saying here somewhere, it's that simple that we miss it. It's closer than the breath. What's closer than breath?
One of the poets said that also. Closer than your breathing, nearer than your hands and feet. And Walt Whitman says, I'm not contained between my hat and my boots.
Yeah.
That's right.
And without the thought, are you even the body? Without the mental image of the body, without the mental image of the face, without the memory of the name, what are you? Without the mental image, without the interpretation of that sensation as a field of sensing, without the thought will tell you, oh, that sensation is here in my leg. No. For the leg you need a thought. Without those, without the memory of your name and your gender and your nationality, what are you? There is no answer to that question. But are you not? Well, can't deny it. Existence is always here. But for the mind it's not enough. Yeah, but
Bob, but I'm a passionate, sincere seeker. Like, I'm really earnest. I've been trying all my life to see this, and I can't get it. And I try and and I've done this and that and the other, and I just, I understand everything conceptually, and yet I don't feel this great joy. I just feel this ordinariness, and just talking.
Lovely. Yeah, that's brilliant.
I'm sorry.
In the self-liberation through seeing we're naked awareness. Some call it this, whatever it is, some call it something else. All these different labels I've got to get down to the very last one after about 10. Some call it ordinary awareness.
But I love how you impersonate, really, and
that's what it once felt like. That, really felt like I was sincere. I'm earnest. I'm going to get this.
Yeah.
I've been doing this all my life, and I still don't feel this. This incredible thing, and then that very thing is the obscuration.
Exactly.
Crazy. And Bob's just fantastically just keeps you bringing you back to that. And so I used to see you, a long time ago. Bob, you just don't get me. You you don't get where I'm coming from here.
Yes.
And he wouldn't give you that fuel that fire that seemed to be such a sincere, earnest fire. He didn't fuel it. It's geez, this guy really doesn't get it. Can't see my passion. But that was part of the whole. And then that's just whoa. So,
and it seems that passion is part of the story. I mean, when Bob left everything and went to India, and he had all bridges behind him burned, his marriage collapsed, everything was just, that was the last burning desire, to see through that illusion. And I was in the same place, probably one of the lowest points in my life where nothing else matters. Nothing. I had absolutely no other desires but seeing through. And that passion was the very last desire that was actually experienced in the consciousness. And it's somehow that was the opening.
Thank you, Bob and Kat.
It's part of the play. Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.